Let's look at Chapter 5, Lesson 3, Review. The geometry part, we need to use the triangles below. So that means A, B, C, and D. You may use the same triangle more than once. Tell which triangle or triangles you can move to form the figure shown, and whether each move is a translation, rotation, reflection, or a combination. So what they want you to do is to look to see if you can't form the triangles and how you push them together. So for each shape, you're going to want to try to cut it so you can form some right angles. So for number 1, I'm going to cut it right down here. Now, what shape is this? And if I look, I can tell that it is letter D. And what shape is this? Looking up here, match them, it's letter C. So I need to have D and C, and I translated them or slid them together in order to make the final shape. Let's go ahead and cut number 2. You can cut it this way, which would make this shape A and this one shape B. Or you could have cut them going the other way for C and D. Depending on which way you cut them depends on the letter that you'll be using. But for each one, it's going to be translate because you are smushing them together or sliding the shapes together in order to make the final shape. For number 3, you're going to cut it down to form 2 right angles, and matching the triangles up, I know that this is letter B and letter C. And again, they're going to be B, C, translate. You could have used this and you could have said that this was B and that B just flipped over, which would be a B reflection. Either way works for me. If you have both of them, that's great. Let's go ahead and cut number 4. And I'm going to have to cut it this way. Now, these triangles could be any of the letters. So I'm going to say that it's letter A. But first I had to rotate it. So A, rotate. And then after you rotate it, you can flip it over. So then reflect in order to figure it out. Now it could have been A, B, C, or D, depending on which letter you use to rotate. For problem solving, we need to solve the problem and then explain your answers. At the beginning, it's saying that it doesn't know what the number is, but it knows everything else. So what you want to do here is work backwards. So we have 5, and working backwards it says to add 1, but we know that the inverse would be 5 minus 1, which equals 4. And then going backwards again would be divide by 4, but inverse would be times 4, which equals 16. Going backwards again, subtract 8, but the inverse would be add 8, which equals 24. So your final answer is going to be 24. Your explanation is the work that you have right here.